This one's for you guys. This is our home buyer series aimed at first home buyers or people who just need a refresher to get back into the market on what it actually looks like to buy your first home. Everything starts with seeing your mortgage broker. You cannot be looking into the market to see anything before you've talked to your mortgage broker, because there's no use falling in love with the property and knowing, okay, cool, this is exactly what it needs to be. I can't have anything else. Seeing a broker to find out that the finance just does not work out. Once you've got your budget sorted out, you need to get a pre-approval. A pre-approval means that the bank has ticked off on every single thing that you're wanting to do, and all you need to do is find that property. That pre-approval will last for 90 days for most lenders. After you've gotten pre-approved, that's when the fun begins. You're in the property market, you're making offers. Those offers must be subject to 4 things. Number 1, what is my finance condition? Finance condition means if I make an offer to the seller comes back and says, that's a beautiful offer, congratulations, we'll sell to you. Your finance condition means from the date that the contract has been fully signed by both yourself as a buyer and also the sellers, from that date onwards, how many days do I have to get my finance approved? To be competitive in the market, you've got to be at 7 days, meaning from the date that everybody agrees and has signed off on the contract of sale, I've got 7 days to make sure that the bank has formally approved me on my loan. That means they've converted my pre-approval, which they've already checked over everything for me besides the property that I'm actually buying. And they've gone, yep, 100% convert that pre-approval to a formal approval, which just means the bank checking the property that you bought, making sure you've bought it at the right price, at the right value, and then ticking that one condition off. 7 days with good banks is more than enough time to get it over the line. The second step is always your building and pest condition. Same thing, it can be 7 days. Usually it's a little bit longer on this one than the finance. 10 days, 14 days is usually also okay. You've got your 7 days to 14 days to get a building and pest inspector into the property to inspect the property, make sure there's no termite damage, make sure there's no roofs that are about to fall off, all of those things. And then once they've checked it off, they provide you with the report. Once you've got the report, you've got that remaining time to basically confirm to the seller that you're A, happy with the actual building and pest, or there's a lot of defects you'd like to terminate, or you've got to negotiate. So those are all some available options. If you'd like to see exactly how to structure this correctly, when to negotiate, when not to, then click on this video here. This will take you to our tips and tricks for a seamless and stress-free property buying process. The third step in the home buying journey is always going to be your settlement. The settlement is basically from the date that you've signed the contract until the date that you're actually moving into the property. In a competitive market, you'd be looking at about 30 days. So you've got a month to get everything in order, to get everything ready to move into the property. Sometimes that can be extended to 45 days, 60 days, and sometimes even longer as well. The last part of your offer is going to be your deposit. The deposit part of the offer is essentially, you've got 2 types of deposits that you can make throughout the contract. One is called your initial deposit. The other one's called your unconditional or your balance deposit. Now, what that means is the initial deposit is essentially once a contract has been signed, to show good faith, to lock that in, we pay a upfront deposit to the agent. Now that usually is something like 5 grand, 10 grand, something like that. Then let's say that between your contract signing stage and then the finance or building and pest stage, that is when your contract is conditional. Meaning that if for some reason the bank comes back and says, no, we can't finance this property for some reason, or the building and pest report comes back, it's completely trashed, everything is just wrong with the property and you need to terminate the offer. What happens is, as long as you're terminating that contract within that given time frame, you will get your initial deposit back. But let's just say, the more likely option, you get your finance approved, you've got a great mortgage broker, like Barrett Lawrence, and you've also got your building and pest report back, and it's also all good to go. You will pay your balance deposit. That deposit usually is a larger amount. If you'd like to know exactly what is the best amount of deposit to put down, then I'd recommend clicking this video up here. Again, that will take you to our last video, which is the last video of this series, where I go through the tips and tricks, exactly what is a good amount of deposit to put down. But let's move on for now. You've signed the contract, you've got your finance and your building and pest conditions approved, and now you've gone unconditional and paid your second deposit. Between when you've gotten your loan approved and when you've actually got to move into the property, there are a couple of things that are still left to be tidied up. You've got to make sure that the loan documents have been signed with your bank. That means that after you've got the approval, you actually need to accept that loan in the eyes of the bank. So that's just a little bit of paperwork that your mortgage broker will take you through. Once you've done that, usually the only part of the process that's remaining is that you've got to do a pre-settlement inspection. I highly recommend doing a pre-settlement inspection just to make sure that everything inside of that property, everything that is the property itself, is exactly the same way that it was when you first inspected the property and when you bought it a couple of weeks ago. Once you've ticked everything off, it's pretty much just a waiting game until settlement date. On settlement date, you don't need to be anywhere, you don't need to do anything. Your solicitors, the seller's solicitors, the agents, and the banks all communicate with one another, and basically they will give you a call once you settle. Now on settlement date, that is a big day. That's when you get a couple of calls. You'll get a call from your solicitor confirming everything's gone through. You'll likely get a call from the real estate agent saying congratulations. You'll probably get a text and an email from the bank. And then lucky last, usually the mortgage broker will give you a call confirming everything's gone through. What about after settlement? Well, your loan account doesn't immediately go into your bank account once you settle. It can have a little bit of downtime of 24 to 48 hours. So don't stress out if everyone's told you you've settled, but you can't see any updates in your internet banking. So give it that couple of days, and then pretty much after those couple of days, everything should be up and running. Check that everything is linked in the right ways. That's your payment accounts, that's your offset accounts. Check that everything is all ready to go inside of your property. And then if you've got a gun mortgage broker like us, then they should be reaching out to you every single year to review your loan and also do an annual valuation on your property as well. Now, that's it for this first video, which is the high-level timeline, exactly what happens and at what stage, so when things happen. The next video, if you click here, will be exactly who are the key players, who will be good to be representing you, who do you need to contact, and at what stage as well. So please click along to follow on the journey of how exactly to buy a home.